Hey FlossTube Stitchers, Shelly here at Just Stitching, and I'm going to start off with a new shop model on loan from guess who? Marlene. You're right. She's such a fast stitcher and she utilizes our framing service, so she's very generous in loaning us her finishes, especially when it's out of season. So of course she's not using patriotic designs right now in her home decor. This is called Thanks to the Brave by Linda Stoltz of Erica Michaels. And it's one of those charts that's designed for silk gauze. And then part of the chart is also shown in cross stitch. So the silk gauze version has more detail, and you could also stitch that on cross stitch fabric. It would just be bigger and more stitching. But I love the frame on this too with the stars. So we're happy to have this probably until next summer. And then another new finish was from a customer named Laura who brought it in for show and tell, and she let me take a picture of it. So I will include the photo in the video, but the easiest way to show it to you right now is on my phone. And I think I figured out if I hold this mat board in front of it in a certain way, okay, it gets rid of the glare. I hope that's close enough for you to see. Is it clear? Looks like it's not focusing on it. I've tried this a couple times, and this is like the best way for no glare. Anyway, this is Happy Birthday America by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. And it's done as a cake on a stand. You can't see the stand in this picture because I was concentrating on the cross stitch. But Laura used the alphabet fabric that was included in the chart for the side of the drum or cake or whatever you want to call it. And the only change she made was she had purchased this as a kit that included vintage pom-pom trim, and it was a little too messy, old for her, so she used vanilla instead. And this started a whole chain of events that turned out to be pretty funny due to a mistake on my part. Here, let me show it this way. But here was my dilemma. Can you see the difference in the size? Does the vintage pom look bigger than the vanilla pom? So she had purchased the vanilla pom from Lady Dot Creates Etsy shop. And I was confused because I thought it looked much smaller than the other poms. And so I looked at her Etsy shop and it says mini pom-pom. But on the trims that we get from the distributor, it just says hand-dyed pom-pom. It doesn't say mini anywhere. So I thought maybe there was a new size that I didn't know about for some reason. And I thought, did I miss an email? Was I not paying attention at the last trade show? What's going on here? So I emailed her and I said, I really hate to bother such a busy lady, but could you answer a question about the pom-pom trim? And I explained the dilemma and I told her what the customer had stitched, and she wrote back, no worries, you can ask me any question anytime, don't worry about bothering me. But no, I only have one size of pom-pom trim. So I said, maybe it's an optical illusion, but at the time I had not compared the two trims side by side. So I think you can see why I made that mistake. To me, the vintage color, I don't know, this trim looks that much bigger. But I did want to say something about the trim. The reason I thought maybe it was an optical illusion is because, of course, I saw her finish where the poms were removed from the edging. And Lois is the only one that dyes pom-pom trim that's on this type of edging that can be removed. And you can go to her website. I think you have to go to her website, not the Etsy shop, to get the directions. But it's like a two-page PDF document that you can download. But anyway, basically what you do is, I'm going to try to hold this against my top so that you can see it better with the solid color behind it. But you basically just clip the little threads that are holding the pom to the trim, and it works better for hand finishing. Now, if you were going to sew this into a seam, you know, maybe you can do it perfectly so that the trim is inside of the seam and you don't have the same problem. But when you're hand finishing, it's easier to sew the pom on without the edging. So anyway, I just thought that was funny, and I felt really silly when it was all over. But one place said mini and the other just said pom. So I ran with it and thought maybe there was something I didn't know about. And I wanted to be a little detective and find that out even before Laura left the store. So that leads me to the giveaway this week. And I am going to show a little video, probably right after I talk about it, that shows the rack that we have the Lady Dot Creates trims on. But the giveaway is going to be 3 coordinating trims from her. And what I'd like you to do, this happens to be Grape Fizz, and this is the pom, the Rick Rack. It doesn't say what size it is. I think the skinnier Rick Rack says a size, so this must be the 1/2 inch. And then the regular size chenille. But if you would just tell me maybe your favorite color or your favorite season to stitch for, or if you want to go to her Etsy shop and pick out a color, I would be happy to order for you 3 of the same color or 3 coordinating colors if I don't already have them in stock. So just say something about the color or season that you want, or you can actually pick out an exact color name for her. Okay, so I'll insert the video here. This is the side of the spin rack that holds the Lady Dot Creates trims. And I'm gonna do the video slightly from an angle because she has so many colors that each color does not get its own peg. So this way you can see a greater variety of the colors that I have in stock. And most of the trims have different sizes. So there's twill tape and rickrack and chenille and ribbon and pom-poms. And many of them are in 2 or 3 different sizes. So that gives you a little bit of an overview. Oops, one more row. All right, and then my vintage stitch for today is something that was stitched for me as a gift. I honestly don't remember who did this for me. I was thinking my friend Jan, who moved away years ago, she usually puts her initials in the year, and this doesn't have it, but it's stitched all over 1. So that's how I know I did not stitch this myself, because I did not do much stitching over 1 back in the day. And I knew the name In the Bee Man's Garden, but I couldn't remember who the designer was. And of course, I wouldn't have the chart since I didn't stitch it. So I Googled it, and I didn't find very many references because it dates back long before there was social media. But I found a reference on a blog that said it was from Anne Brown of The Good Housewife. Anyway, there's a lot of texture to this piece with the satin stitch on the bee scap, and I just love those little tiny bees over 1. They're so delicate, and it looks really great in my dining room. And so I will also include a picture of this hanging in the current grouping. And this leads me to my current whips. So you might remember Kind Words from Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I pretty much finished it, except I'm still fussing with the bee trails. So if you remember, the model on the front cover doesn't match the chart, and I'm really fussy about stuff like that. So I just keep redoing it, and I haven't quite, there's a bee trail here, and then there's one down here, and I'm just not quite satisfied with it yet. So I put it aside in timeout, and I started the next one. I know, I had no business starting something new, but I'm the queen of justification. I decided that since this was a little series or a little grouping that was going to go together, that I had perfect reason for starting it. So this is a newer chart from them as well called Be Happy. And I worked on this for a few nights. You might see some thread showing through because not all of the tails have a good place to be wound under yet until I do some more stitching. So that's how much I have done now. I should be able to finish this up in the next night or two. And I'm doing this on an unnamed, well, I'm sure it was named in the beginning, but I didn't have the name of the color on the scrap. But it's probably Picture This Plus, because I know it says Weigart Lugana because of the orange thread going through the salvage. And I don't have a lot of the newer companies in my stash, so this is probably Picture This Plus. Maybe Sand. Anyway, I know it's a Lugana. And I'm stitching with one strand. It was 2 strands on the 16 Aida, but this is 1 strand. And I think it covers pretty well, but it also has a delicate feel to it. So I'm really liking this. And stay tuned for the new product because there's a 3rd one in the series. Hey, why don't we do that right now? Okay. So here's all the new charts that have come in the past 2 weeks, I guess. Let's see, where am I going to put these when I'm done? Alrighty. So in Amy Brecken's series, Snow Friends, this is number 3. And number 4. And each one comes with whatever embellishments are used for that month. They're $10, I think you could see that. This is the September sampler for $6.50 from Country Cottage Needleworks, her monthly series. And Little House Needleworks came up with another one in the Hometown Holiday series. This is Grocery Store. And here we go from Primrose, Autumn House. Love that finish, it's so cute. Does it say? I'm sure in their videos it says what they used for finishing. It's probably something from Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And this is Winter House, and it's a similar finish, but a square, like shadow box type of a frame. Well, the other one was a shadow box too, just different shapes. You can tell I didn't do my homework for that one. And this is the 3rd one in their series called Bumblebee Kisses that I'm going to start this week. And I'm going to do it on linen so that I will have an Aida, an even weave, and a linen, but they will all coordinate because of the color palette, and then I'll use similar fabrics for finishing them into smalls. Then we have the next installment of Sunday Stitches, the series from Beth Twist at Heartstring Samplery. And this is When I Survey. And each month is $10. And everything is coordinated. So the original model was done on 36 Heartland from Picture This Plus. She does change the fabric each time, but it's a limited number of colors that you use. So I think it'll make a really nice grouping, no matter which ones you do. And as you know, you can only get these from shops that are on her automatic. So we do appreciate her recognizing us in that way. Little House Needleworks has Love Family Home. Diane tweaked her logo and put it into cross stitch. So I wonder how many people asked her if she would do that. I don't really know the story behind it, but you know, maybe she got asked, and it is really darling. So it's $32 and you get the chart and full skeins of the required classic color works. And the special gift is the floss key from Sampling of Memories. Then Manny Dodonna has the Bee Farm. So cute. You know I have to have that too. Look at those bees. I love how everybody does bees, but they look slightly different. They all have their unique personalities. Pineberry Lane, the Witch's Garden. And then these have been on back order. The July from Puntini for $13. This includes the little seashell button. And then the newest month, we had gotten August a few weeks ago, I guess, and then September came, and it includes the little pencil. Romy's Creations has a new alphabet series for Halloween, so this is A and B. And C and D have been ordered, and there might be a few more ready by the end of the month for Needlework Expo. Scissor Tail Designs has Autumn Blessings. Can I get some of the, no. There's a lot of glare on the plastic charts. Tra La La, ABC of Roses. Here are her autumn strawberries. And I just realized I forgot to look this up. Douceurs d'automne. I don't know what douceur is. I forgot to look it up. Okay, when I looked up the definition of douceur, which I cannot pronounce the correct French way, but when I looked it up, I had to include it in the video. So this was from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary online. In French, douceur means pleasantness, and it is often used in phrases such as douceur de vivre, the pleasure of life. The word derives from the Latin adjective dulcis, meaning sweet. A douceur is a gift or payment, sometimes, but not necessarily, considered a bribe, provided by someone to enhance or sweeten a deal. In the United Kingdom, douceur specifically refers to a tax benefit given to someone who sells an historical artifact to a public collection. Other sweet treats that dulcis has given to our language include dulcet, having a sweet sound that is pleasing to the ear, and dulcimer, a kind of stringed instrument that provides sweet music. So the translation of that chart is the sweetness of autumn. Just thought you'd want to know. Waxing Moon Designs has Halloween Street. Let's see, $10 for the 3 designs. Needlework Press and Be Kind to One Another. Let's see, I'll hold that back so you can see the whole thing. Caroline Suffling 1848 from the Scarlet House. Let's see, I'll try to get most of the glare off of that. Tiny Modernist has Halloween Wreath. And then this is part 2 of her When Witches Go Riding. So that's how much, get the glare out of there. That's how much is showing so far. It's a 4-part series. And each part, I think each part is $6. Sometimes she has a big outline and then smaller charts, and these are all the same size charts, so I think they're all $6. And another one in the Signs series, this is Autumn for $12. And Black Halloween series, for $15, you get 3 charts from Twin Peak Primitives. I loved all of your comments about pumpkin from a few weeks ago, and that was to enter the drawing for the hands-on chart If Pumpkins Could Fly, with the main colors included. And I think it's Becky. I'm so sorry. I know I should know who you are, and your name just escaped me, but I think it's Becky, BBOK on FlossTube. She said, I like to add pumpkin to my chili. Yes, you read that right. However, I do add it while no one is looking. Ha! It adds great nutrition, and I like the texture, but it doesn't change the flavor. And we also have a chili recipe that has pumpkin in it, so that reminded me of it. And I thought that was a great response after reading so many comments about pumpkin pie and pumpkin muffins with chocolate chips, or cookies with frosting, pumpkin streusel coffee cake, So anyway, I was getting really hungry while I was reading the comments, but a few people did say something savory, and so I appreciated that comment. And I think only one person mentioned stitching pumpkins, and that was Deb, and she also quilts, and she does a lot of Lori Holt. So she has some quilts and cross stitch that will make a really nice grouping that have pumpkins in them. And I thought, well, good for you for talking about stitching for the answer to the question. And then I think only 2 people said they didn't like pumpkin, and Tara said that she makes pumpkin dog treats. So I thought that sounded like a good idea because I know that's a healthy ingredient to give your dogs. So anyway, I love those. We're gonna have to talk about those recipes another time. We need to do like a little mini cookbook or something just between us. So Becky, who was the winner of this, confirmed that it's really you, that I'm not crazy. All right, have a great week. See you next time. Thanks for watching. I'm just really fussy about it's not really back stitching, it's more like, what do you call that when it's not back stitching, but it's, what do you call that? It's not back stitching, it's, I don't know what it's called.